Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Hangout that we're having this morning from the Dublin and Hyderabad office on the ad disapproval process and review process. I'm here with my colleague Connor. He and I work in the Dublin office, and Charby, you can see there, she is joining us from one of our Indian offices. She's an ad review specialist and knows basically everything there is to know about ad approvals. Today we're just going to go through the process a little bit of how ad reviews work, why your ads have to be reviewed, and then at the very end I'll just go through a quick demo of things that you can do to check up on your ads and see how they look and what's going on with them if they're stuck in review. If you have any questions about today's Hangout as we go through the content of what we're covering, or anything about maybe you have a specific account issue, Tash is actually standing by on Twitter. The handle for it is just @AdWords. You can also hashtag your tweet with Ask AdWords or AdWords Hangouts. Any of those three she'll pick up on, and she would love to answer your questions, I know. So basically, to explain a little bit about how ad review works, we try to review ads as quickly as possible, but usually within the 3 working days after they've been created. Your ad is submitted to us whenever you create a new ad or whenever you make any change. So basically, like if you change a punctuation mark, if you take out an exclamation mark and replace it with a full stop, or if you replace a lowercase letter with an uppercase letter, maybe in the headline, that ad will have to go under review. We have a really high standard that we try to keep with our ads so that your business gets the best possible clicks. You know, we try to maintain a really high standard, and for that reason we make sure that all of the ads that are created or altered in any way are put through our review process again. This does reset your performance statistics to 0, so make sure that if you want to, it will also create a new ad whenever you make any edits to any ads. So if you want to maintain those ads and you want to keep them running, just bear in mind that if you make any changes to it, it will go under review again, and the performance statistics on it will be reset to 0. So each ad does go through an automated system in that 3 working days, but occasionally it can take a little bit longer if there are mentions of things that require a bit more of a manual review in that ad. These relate to certain policies, and Connor's going to talk through some of the points about why it may take an ad a little bit longer to be reviewed, and also the 3 main issues that cause ads to be disapproved or can cause a bit of a problem whenever it comes to ad reviews. So I'll just hand over to Connor for that.
So you might be asking yourself, why do we disapprove ads at all? Well, as Hannah said, we focus an awful lot on creating a great user experience. So we have very high standards in the ads we'll allow to run. So all of them need to meet certain advertising requirements, certain criteria that we view as very important. But there are a couple of tips that we're going to give you, really common errors that once you know, you can overcome. So the common disapproval reasons are very straightforward. The destination URL that you specify in any ad may not be working. It could have an invalid HTTP response, or the URL itself could be broken. So that's the first reason. We won't allow any ad to run if the destination URL simply isn't working. The second thing is your display URL. Sometimes you can type it in inaccurately, as well as that, due to human error, you might just make a mistake. So it's important to get that right. As well as that, in every single ad group in your campaign structure, the display URLs need to be the same. So in essence, you can't have any more than 1 display URL in 1 ad group. And the third reason is probably the most interesting. We have an awful lot of editorial guidelines, and so our focus is on making sure you don't use too many capital letters in any one word, and making sure your punctuation and symbols are professional in their specs, and they don't look gimmicky at all. So when you submit an ad, it's going to take up to 3 days for the review process to be complete. Obviously, we focus on getting your ad up online as quickly as possible, and we would try to review the ad within a couple of hours. So when you submit an ad, you'll see the status will turn to eligible, and then it will turn to under review when it dips into the review process completely, and then hopefully it will come out as approved itself. What I do want to run through are some of the top disapproval reasons and how to avoid them in a little bit more detail. So we were running through the URL policies. When I said that your URL should be working, that means it should work on any browser, in any location, and on any device. As well as that, if you're making any changes to your website, you should make sure that the URL doesn't lead to a construction page, an under review page, or simply an error 404 page. So it's really important that you maintain the actual site before you upload it as an ad. As well as that, your landing page's domain has to be the same as the destination URL. So when you put in a display URL into your ad, the destination URL should be the same. So when somebody clicks on an ad and you've typed in google.com in your ad, it should lead to google.com or google.com/Hannah or /Connor. And again, each ad group can only have one display URL, and that's just to make sure that your account is as structured as possible and easy to look through. And again, back to my favorite policy, the editorial standards policy, because I'm a bit of a nerd myself. So when you create an ad, we don't want it to look gimmicky, because we place an awful lot of importance on making sure that your ads and your competitors' ads look as professional as possible. So we don't like any gimmicky language, we don't like excessive or inappropriate punctuation or symbols. So a couple of examples of that are that there might be an exclamation mark in the headline. We don't allow that. Repeated punctuation or symbols. So if you're trying to create a call to action, you're not allowed to have ... at the end to create a bit of suspense. It's not something that we allow. As well as that, when you're typing certain words, you might want to make them stand out. And another thing we don't allow is creating one letter in a word that's a capital letter to try and make it stand out. As well as that, if you were trying to advertise Hannah on a Hangout, you wouldn't be able to spell her name H4NNAH. So you're not allowed to mess with any of the words, because we want your message to be conveyed to the marketplace as directly and as distinctly as possible. Other things would be the intercapitalization I was talking about. So try and make sure you create sentences that have, say, a capital letter at the start of each word, but not a capital letter in the middle of each word.
Yeah.
As well as that, common abbreviations are totally allowed. So if you're advertising something to do with US dollars, you're allowed to say USD to stand for that. As well as that, again, I'd refer back to the excessive capitalization or gimmicky punctuation or anything like that. So in essence, imagine you're back in your English class and your teacher's looking over your shoulder, so try not to make any punctuation mistakes.
Another common thing that we have are people closing out the last line of their ad text with something like free delivery on orders over £25, for example, and they have the entire word free capitalized. That's not allowed. As Connor said, that you can have the F on free capitalized, but the REE will have to be lowercase, because unless you have branded and trademarked that term as a word that is supposed to be spelt in all capital letters, you will not be able to have that capitalized in your ad text. So right now I'm going to take you through a bit of a demo on some of the ads that I have in a demo account that have been disapproved. I'll show you some quick tips on ways to find out why they're disapproved and how you can resubmit them for review. This campaign, is purely a demo account, so please don't replicate anything that you see here, because your ads probably will be disapproved, and that's not good, because repeated disapprovals can lead to suspension. So just be really careful of that. So yeah, let's just switch over to the AdWords account. So here you'll see that I have a number of different campaigns in this account. I'm just looking at all of the ads across the entire campaign here. I can see that 3 are disapproved. 2 of them are in this Hangout campaign. The other one is in the online order campaign. In order to get a bit more information about this, I can create a customized column. So I'm just going into the Ads tab again. I'm currently looking at all online campaigns. I'm in the Ads tab. I've clicked on Columns and Customize Columns. And underneath this attributes section, we can see this new policy details column. I'm going to click add on that and then scroll down to the bottom and click apply. If you're a new advertiser and you haven't seen these columns before, you might just want to play around with them and see the types of other columns that we have under the other sections here. But for the purposes of this, we're just going to add this policy details column. When we scroll down again then, you can see that the reasons for all the disapprovals of these ads have been highlighted in this column. So this ad, for example, has been disapproved for editorial standards, punctuation and symbols. It's exactly what Connor was just mentioning to us. I have 2 exclamation marks on each of my description lines in this ad. That is not allowed, so I've been disapproved for editorial standards. On this ad, I've been disapproved for trademark issues because I'm using the trademark term Google. And on this ad, I've been disapproved for site policy. I don't get a lot of information about why exactly what policy the site has been disapproved for. So I can click on this link, and it will bring me into how to fix a suspended site on our help center. You can go ahead and click on any of the links that you see under the disapprove column, and it will show you exactly what the articles are that relate to that, and you get a bit more information on why exactly your ads have been disapproved. If I am a really large advertiser and I have something like 500 ads or maybe thousands of ads in my account, I might want to pull up the different disapproval reasons one by one. So I can click on filter, create filter, and in here, first of all, I can look at the approval status of the ads. I can look at all of the ads that are disapproved. If I just untick all of these, I can apply that filter and it pulls up the 3 ads that have been disapproved. I can then add another filter. Second type of filter here that I can add is policy category. So I can look at all of the ads that are disapproved for trademark or have something to do with trademark in my account. I'll also leave on alcohol and information harvesting in case I have any issues with those 3 issues in my account, because maybe I have a lot of ads related to wine or beer making or something. And I can see that I have 1 ad that is related to this trademark policy that is disapproved. I can pull that up even if my ads aren't disapproved. Perhaps you are an advertiser who is dealing in like the wine trade, for example. You could pull up a list of your approved ads that are related to any of those policies. Similarly with pharmacy, or if you had any ads that have mobile rendering issues, you can apply that filter again. The next thing that we're going to look at, I'm just going to remove this, is disapproval reason. This is a really good one as well to pull up. I'm just going to close this filter actually to demonstrate this properly. So I'm going to start again. I'm going to create filter, and I'm going to pull up disapproval reason. And the first one I'm going to look for is site. And I can see that I only have 1 ad in my account that is disapproved for site policy. If I had more, they would obviously all be displayed. Second one I'm going to look for is editorial. Maybe I have loads of ads in my account that have been disapproved for editorial. Obviously, I only have 1 here, but it's pulled it up here nicely and shown me that I have 1 ad that's disapproved for editorial standards. So that is a really great way to get a good overview of your account, particularly if you have a lot of ads. Using the columns for policy details is particularly handy in order to pull up those articles and more information that you might need in order to get your ads approved. And then obviously the filters in order to look at why exactly your ads have been disapproved is really handy as well. So that's it from us today. Charvi, do you just quickly want to tell us about the community things that you're doing on the community at the minute?
Yeah. So we're also in order to supplement the Hangout, we're also trying to do a weekly series on the community. So I'm actually going on to the AdWords community each week and posting 1 post with more details about some of the stuff that Hannah and Connor talked about. And if you guys have any questions or feedback, then I'm happy to take them there as well.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
So if you have any questions about this, maybe you're watching the recording back, you can feel free to tweet us again at AdWords. Use our Ask AdWords hashtag. You can also check out Charvie's posts on the community. They'll be there every week, and you can reply to some of the posts that she puts up there. If you have any questions, she'll get back to you. She has all the knowledge about everything you'll need to know about ad approvals. Finally, if you have any questions about account-specific issues, you can, of course, call us at any time. You can find our Help Centre contact number under the Contact Us link in our Help Centre. Thanks so much for joining us today, guys. It's been really great to hang out with you. If you are new to AdWords, the UKI team have another hangout happening on Tuesday in our New to AdWords series. This week we're going to cover account structure and ad text optimization. So you can feel free to tune into that if you would like more tips on how to make your ads pop on the search network. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great day.
Sayonara.